Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
You're listening to Keeping It Queer with Navin Noronha.
Welcome back everyone to the second part of this episode with Sridhar Rangayan. In the previous episode, we covered Sridhar's early life and coming to terms with his sexuality. In this episode, however, we'll take a closer look at his professional achievements as a filmmaker, activist and director for the Kashish Film Festival. So when we left off last, we were discussing how you met your partner, Sridhar. Tell us more about him.
My partner's name is Sagar, and he's a dialogue writer and art director, and also kind of a co-producer of most of the work we do. What was interesting was as I said, there's no dedicated spaces in Bombay or in India where we could meet apart from the drop-in centers like Humsafar Trust and other places. But so I met him on the road, cruising each other. So this was at 12 o'clock in the night or something, and I was going towards the railway station to cruise, and he was walking the other way, and I crossed this. I think I was he's really not my type. So but something about him, I just crossed. Maybe I was just too dead for the night, and I just want to go home with somebody.
What is your type? Is what piques the interest at this point?
No, that will remain at the wraps, because that will be revealed only on Grindr. I crossed the road and I said, do you have a light? And he said, yeah, I have a match and all. He gave this, So we went home, and what was interesting about it, he had a great fascination for poetry and art. And, he basically, he was, of course, like your boyfriend, he was a chef. Okay.
Wow.
So he had done his hotel management, and he was working at a hotel. And but what was beautiful was he's a wonderful soul who's very gentle, kind, and loving, and also had this affinity towards art and so we kind of really bonded a lot very well. And I kind of chased him a bit, I think, because I was old. I'm older by 7 years to him, so I was kind of pretty much chasing him. So I would kind of go and wait. He would come back from his hotel in the last train, and I'd be at the railway station to meet him, to take him back to so he doesn't wander off somewhere else, So
he's mine,
So,
but that's a bitch, right? Hotel management is really one of the, and having to date somebody from that industry, I can only imagine.
No, because you would take the last train back 12 o'clock, and sometimes you would sleep in the train and you would go to the next station, and so I would be waiting there. And my friends and all would tease me ki Pakiza aakhri train ke liye wait kar raha hai. You know that thing, no?
Yeah.
Mera ko bari waits like the train. It's like a very iconic song, Rao mein unse mulaqat hogi. So it's like my love affair with Sagar is that, and we have been together through our ups and downs for the last 22 years. I mean, it's pretty.
That's kudos, man.
Massive, yeah. I know. It's where people think that gay relationship cannot stay beyond a couple of years.
And it's almost true. There's many relationships, and there's many semblance of a relationship that break too early or something. But I've seen so many couples who have been together for 15, 16, more than 20 years, and that's really inspirational to a lot of youngsters who still believe in the idea of love. Eventually the whole idea is let love be. Let us just be in bed with someone who we love. That's all we want. That's all the whole conversation.
No, also the fact that when you love somebody, I think you should love that person with all the warts and blemishes and everything.
Yeah.
You cannot have a very predefined way that this is the person I need, and this is the way that person will behave.
Correct.
There's a way this person will be with me, So instead of that, I would say that this is what I want is fine, but this is what he wants, this is what he is, and how can you just be together, And I think that's really important. I think, there are kind of adjustments, and there are, I would say, I hate the word, I don't think it's compromises. It's the way we look at life changes over the period of time.
But the dichotomy of the top and bottom.
No, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that.
Because now in the Grindr world, the Plant Romeo world, that is all. People have filters for that. You can filter out people
really
who don't.
It tires me, this whole top and bottom and
your
versatile.
soulmate could be out there who's this amazing person, but you have filtered him out based on your physical preferences, your age group preferences.
Isn't it? Yeah. And also, it's not about height. It's not about top or bottom. It's not even about whether he has a great face or whether it's about he has a great voice or something. It's about a whole lot of things which there's maybe just one thing which touches you.
Yeah.
And if you can hold on to that one thing, and right through, and I think for us, I think it's love and care, and that's the way for us, both of us care and love each other, and I think that really holds on a lot. And we have been through a lot of our because we both are like chalk and cheese. I'm an Aryan, he's a Piscean.
Okay.
I mean, we are really end of the spectrum of the zodiac sign, and like I'm impulsive. I'm like I'm a Aries, so I'm butting my head everywhere, kind of outgoing, and he's more calm, sorted
he's
out.
more low key.
Yeah, low key. But he's very meticulous, and that can be frustrating.
So now
Believe me.
both your families obviously know about.
So my family knows. His family, he has not. I mean, they know because they've been in our house, but he has not formally come out to them. You know,
Correct.
which is fine. I think everybody has to have their own ways
space,
of coming out
yeah.
and at the pace at which.
Then also again, like, you know, sometimes.
But very much like their parents know and kind of accept me as a soulmate, and we have been together. In fact, his father is staying with us right now.
Okay.
And we have very much, and my parents, of course, know. My mother knows completely, and my whole extended family knows.
So let's just travel back a little bit.
Okay,
like
a bit of coming out day.
Yeah,
Okay.
coming out story, because that's one part where we missed out.
Okay.
We know your
So,
mom is still questioning why you're doing all this.
I
but
know.
then,
Now the thing is, like, I mean, again, one of those people who I know that I've been kind of beaten up quite a bit on many of the Q&A sessions and all. I'm one of those person who came out after I got in a relationship. I just felt that like I'm more comfortable now that I have a partner. I mean, it was like a year later, you know. I mean, I just had a partner, and like I just felt this is the time I can come out, you know, to my mother. Which I know it's a big question. Can't you come out if you're a single person? Yes, different people
Definitely
have
you
a different
can,
ways of doing it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just that I felt more comfortable when I have
fall
a
back
partner.
on someone as well.
Maybe I could answer my mom's questions more easily at that point of time. You know, maybe I would do it differently now or differently in some other point. I mean, that is the point I was in. You know, so it was like, I mean, my film Evening Shadows is named after that kind of a episode where it was evening in my small town, in my house. You know, where I came out to her one evening. You know, and it's extremely complicated because like you really don't have words in Tamil. To say, you know, you cannot be saying "मैं some samalayingik" in Tamil, you know.
There's no term for it.
Yeah, there's nothing like gay. What is gay? I mean, you don't have absolutely nothing where you can say gay in Tamil or Kannada or any of the languages we know, you know. So the only way you can say that I love another man, and then the whole questions. So it was a series of questions which. We had a conversation which started that particular evening when the evening felt dark, and you know. And the conversation has continued for the last like 20 years, and it's not stopped yet. Yeah. Because I think parents have a lot of questions. They're trying to understand you. And especially, as I said, like my family being from a small town, do not have any access to any information about LGBT culture or
and
anything.
they can't unlearn what they have learned all their lives.
Also. So it is complicated, but they're trying to understand. I think what I'm saying is also, like, I think young people should come out. That's great. But I think you should come out with a way where you can actually have the parents understand what you are doing. I don't see coming out as a radical protesting thing, you know.
Correct.
I would rather see as a gentle hand-holding thing, rather, you know. So I really think a lot of youngsters, if it's taken them 23 years to come to terms with themselves, give parents some time to understand what it means. You know?
The breathing room has to be given. They have to be
you
desensitized.
can't accept them to just say, okay, I accept you. You know? It's impossible, you know.
Because sometimes people just leave home when they don't get the understanding. And I'll be honest, when I first came out, that was my reaction as well. My mom was like, you can't be gay, but I also don't want you to leave the house. And I'm like, there's no middle ground, Mom. I'm just, you accept or I'm gone. And then
you're like one of those confrontation
I
guys.
was one of those. Like, I realized now why in hindsight it's so important. It's like, you know, when you stuff something down someone's throat when they don't want it, it's exactly like that. And you have to respect their feelings as well at that point. Let them sit on it. My mom is like, her diabetes went up to the roof because she worried about it.
Oh God.
My friends helped me realize this. Like, you know, Karthik, for example, from Q-Graphy, he was one of my closest support system, and he said, don't lash out, because the moment you lash out, they mirror your emotions, and that's when they lash out. So might as well be the calmer person and be the stronger person and help them understand. And I think a lot of youngsters need that today as well. And
no, I think it's like both ways. I think youngsters also, I think even parents sometimes become very stubborn and very obstinate also.
Then you can't.
Yeah, but you need to form the ground for talking, you know. You cannot be, as you said, like this or that, you know. You just have to go and it's a process. I mean, and in fact, I've been having this conversation over Facebook and all. For me, coming out as a personal journey. It's a personal journey. It's not a political journey. If it was a political journey, I would say this or that and I'm done with it, you know. For me, it's a personal journey. I need to hold on to that love because I really love them and I want them their love.
Correct.
So maybe I'm a little more to a goody two shoes, a little more than necessary, you know. I would cut more vegetables, you know, help her more with our chores. But I want to be that. I mean, I love her because I want to be with that. So the film which we are right now working, Evening Shadows, actually kind of is not autobiography. Let me put it on record. Okay. It's many, many different people in a small town put put together,
Correct.
and different mothers
Culmination
put together.
of, yeah.
So it is
But
about
I wanted to talk about something that is really important and trending right
Tell me.
now, and it'll be trending for like the next year as well. I know,
Okay.
because like Karan Johar recently spoke about like how he's the butt of a lot of homosexual jokes, but he has never outright said that he's gay. Like because
Right.
his fears, he like, and this is my opinion that he's a very elite person who's got the luxury of not getting arrested. But the way he said it was, I'm afraid that I'll be going through rounds of courts and everything. So as a fellow filmmaker and as an openly gay filmmaker, how do you react to the situation?
No, but the idea of saying that like I'll be arrested for saying the word gay is stupid,
Yeah.
Okay, there's absolutely no reason or rhyme for that. But yeah, if he doesn't want to say it, it's perfectly fine. It's his choice, I don't think it's necessary that everybody has to say it. But it would be a great help if somebody like of his stature or anybody, I mean, who is like in power in a celebrity status would be able to come out and say it, because I think it, as I said, like just by a Sridhar Rangayan who's a nobody saying it in 1994, there have been a lot of people inspired in Arunachal Pradesh or Kottayam or wherever it is,
True.
So imagine somebody like Karan Johar actually who has it already the reach saying it, and how much it can change younger people's lives,
Can touch so many lives.
Yeah, and not that I think it can change perceptions of families.
Yeah.
For me right now, I think I'm also more concerned about what the family is. In fact, I was doing an interview yesterday. I think it's not about the law. It's not about the government. I think the crux of where we need to change is at the family level.
Yeah.
If the parents are able to accept. But that's step number one. Okay, that parents accept. Step number two is, are they able to talk to the neighbor? Okay,
That's true,
and
yeah.
say that my son is gay. Are they able to talk to their friends and say my child is gay? That is a big step. And that's the way I would say mindsets can change. Otherwise, it will never change. I mean, even if it becomes legal or whatever, it doesn't matter because nothing is going to change.
As you
otherwise.
say, before you come out, the conversation has to come out of the closet.
It's important, So coming back to, so I think Karan Johar absolutely is at his own will to do it.
Yeah.
I just want, I would say, Karan Johar to say it whenever he's comfortable, but don't use it as a publicity gimmick.
Exactly.
Okay. I know of some filmmakers and other writers who have just come out at a point of time when they want to promote something. And that I think is shabby. Come out because you believe in it. And if you're able to just come out and support the movement, and that'll be fantastic. Not support the particular product or whatever you're doing at that point of time. I really think that's really key, that like you should just come out whenever you're comfortable, but don't use it as a publicity idea, So I'm not saying this either about Karan Johar or about anybody, but I'm just saying as a statement, I think it's important to come out for people. I think a lot of people say, oh, why? I think it's important because you can inspire a lot of people and the fact that what is lacking in India right now, I really think when somebody asks you who's gay, I mean, suppose I am talking to my father's friend, he says, okay, ye batao, India mein hai nahi ye cheez, nobody is there. Tell me one gay person. Okay. Then I cannot say Sridhar Rangayan because he doesn't know a shit all about who's Sridhar Rangayan.
Yeah.
So if I say, okay, Karan Johar, I mean, whatever, whoever is gay, that kind of gives it a certain, I mean, what I'm saying is that it's a certain way of looking at the,
You
So
have a
I'm
famous
not-
name attached to it. Like
I'm not calling a role model, but it's a fact that you need those
for example,
things.
you can say, like, for example, George Michael is gay.
I'll say
and
Ricky
Elton
Martin.
Ricky Martin is gay.
I would say Ricky Martin is
Ellen
gay.
DeGeneres is gay.
Then-
Because they're household names.
Correct.
But they came out and they now really have their own fan following.
Correct.
They don't really have to.
And
like,
then if I say, okay, India mein kaun hai?
exactly.
I mean, I can say Ashok Sridhar, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hold enough water, believe me, I mean, you're all activists. Okay, who else? No, as I say, normal person kaun hai,
Correct.
So,
now, I think the closest we come to celebrity gay person is Wendell. Like
Wendell, of course,
he's
yeah.
spoken out about it, and that's
Correct.
a very inspirational
Correct.
thing again.
But again, Wendell immediately gets associated. Okay, fashion industry mein to hai hi aisa.
Haan, exactly.
I actually want bankers to come out. I want police officers to come out. I want judges to come out. No, that's the kind of really believe me.
Correct.
That holds a lot. Or sports person. I mean. Name one person for the cricket team. Okay, okay, we know.
All of them are playing with balls. But
anyway.
it make a difference. Yeah.
It makes a difference. So coming back to so that's how I came out to my mother, and it's been a series of long conversation. She actually does not. She kind of hates herself that she is yet not able to completely understand.
Correct.
And it's really kind of painful because she wants to understand. She wants to get this done with that. She wants to accept me wholeheartedly with complete being. But she's not able to kind of remove that years and years and centuries of baggage
That's
within
true.
her, And it's really complicated. And I don't know how it works for different cultures and different religions and stuff like that, but it extremely complicated for my set of family members, but we have this sporadic conversation, then we put it on the carpet again, it comes up and out of the blue, okay, I mean, she has said that, like, I mean, try not to give, there was a period when she said don't give too many interviews, in the mainstream press,
which I get now.
I said okay, I said okay. Then suddenly Tim Cook comes out, and in the Kannada newspaper in south of India, a Kannada local newspaper carries a big article saying he is out and these are the 5 people who are out in India with Sridhar Rangayan from Mandya, so that newspaper lands in my house,
Wow.
and my mother starts getting very upset because she's getting call from all the people who are friends and all, she didn't know what to say. So I asked my mother, what is written? I said I didn't give that interview, there's no interview, they just picked it up out of the net somewhere. I said, what is said? Are they saying that, like, all these 5 people are bad?
Yeah.
Are they saying they're horrible? Are they saying they're perverts? No. They
I
just
know, even an article compares to Tim Cook.
I know.
Who's
exactly.
like right now the CEO of the biggest company in the world.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Like I said, no. But it's not a good thing,
Yeah.
So I said, like, see, look here, I cannot stop and I cannot, this is my life. This is what I've taken on. And I have no idea what the purpose of this journey is. But there's a journey I've taken. Unfortunately, you're going to be... it's going to be painful for you and it's going to continue to be painful for you. But I really cannot change this thing. And it really hurts, believe me. Like when you love your mother so much and you see her being upset, sometimes you feel it's irrational, but also that genuinely she's hurt and upset and she doesn't have any answers to her neighbors. And one of my uncle, every time I come on NDTV or any of these things, he makes it a bloody point to call my mother and ask her, oh, I saw your son on TV and what was he talking about?
These uncles and aunties, I tell you.
That's
yeah.
So
I think we should let's take a break right now because we are really like fueling up on a lot of conversations.
Hey guys, this is Malika Singhania, co-founder of the blog Stylogram, where we cover trends, fashion forecasts, celebrity style, tips and tricks, and lots more cool stuff. So tune in every Thursday to the Stylogram podcast, your weekly style telegram, giving you the latest fashion and beauty stories that are relevant to you. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, or any of your favorite
my main
podcast
question to you has been
See you soon.
That how you control emotions and bring them into film, and something that is this strong, the complexities of having to live a dual identity as a gay person growing up in this country, and you have finally managed to portray that on the big screen. So how did this journey begin for you?
No, I think it's important. Like, I mean, when you feel something, how do you put this on any of your art forms?
Yeah.
So you need to just have fun with your emotions, use it playfully instead of making it extremely or didactic and boring and preachy and stuff like that. How do you really put that together? So I think most of my work which I've been doing have been, though it's of course because it's an LGBT film, it's not in the mainstream. It's not in the, as you said, independent. It's off independent. But the fact is, I try to make it as mainstream as possible. The way I structure my work, okay, because it's LGBT, it gets pushed on the sides. But if you see my first film, which was Gulabi Aina, it's a complete Bollywood style melodrama with dance and tears and close up of the tear and the works. I mean, it cannot get more dramatic than the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we made that film for a lark. Basically, as I said, we wanted to just document some of the things that were happening in our house, which is like Edwin and Ramesh performing, at that point of time, doing all these dances and stuff like that. I mean, Edwin, this person, he would actually pour a bucket of water on himself and in my hall would do chap chap, pyasi jawani hai. So the whole room would be full of water going out like that. And within another 2 minutes, he would be this very shy Curtis and doing Umrah Jan, It was a beautiful time. And we just want to capture this. And again, at the same time, when there were the beautiful dancing and all, the bitchiest queens, they would just go at each other's throat.
Comes with the drag.
Yeah, completely go at each other's throat and they want to outdo each other, outbeat. तुमने वो मर्द को खाई क्या, मैं इसको पटाई क्या, तुम्हारा उसका कितना बड़ा था, and all the drama would happen, So
कितना बड़ा था is a genuine question. We all have
yeah, so size matters. Yeah, so that was the beginning of that. We want to capture this particular idea, in a film. And Gulabi Aina, the Pink Mirror, was part of that particular idea, that where we actually got some of the people whom we know to come and be part of the film. And the film was a very simple thing about 2 drag queens and a gay teenager trying to seduce a hunky guy.
Yeah.
And finding the hunky guy was a big pain because nobody wanted to do that particular role.
Correct.
And there's one person who came in, an actor who came, and then he was very keen. I said, yeah, I'll do this and all. Then I said, okay, let's do a reading with the two drag queens, And he ran. He just couldn't take it, So finally, there's an actor called Rufi who was doing some Balaji work at that point of time who agreed. And I think he's quite hot and sexy in the film, so that works. And he was a decent actor.
The other guy must have gone back to his hometown. He just gave up on the...
I don't know where he is. So it was really complicated at that point of time, extremely underground. We just shot it in one house. And when we were really scared, this was in 2002, end of 2002. And we were really scared about shooting a film, which was a gay film,
Yeah.
But the fact is, by then I'd built up a lot of good reputation in television industry. I did a lot of television, which usually just gets swept under the carpet because of this gay film thingy.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of television program, pretty much good work, and one award before the Balaji happened and the daily soap happened.
Okay.
We did a lot of good work at that point of time. We did this first film, Gulabi Aina. I sat in a house, not in way, and in fact one of the TV channels at that point of time got wind of it, and they said we want to cover the making of it, but we are so bloody scared that we said no television, no print, nothing. And the first day was uncomfortable because we were working with a very straight crew, obviously everybody, and we were not sure how they'll all react to this completely campy thing. And but I think honesty matters. I mean, when we are doing a project, we are completely honest with the entire crew. This is what we are doing, and we go about it at least without any kind of either try to sensationalize it or trying to pay demeaning. So if we treat our actors with a positive way, everybody treats them in the same way,
Correct.
So that has been the thing. So I think a lot of times my filmmaking process has been a part of sensitizing people on the sets.
Correct.
So the lightman, the spot boys,
and even they understand.
All of them understand, and then they suddenly, second day, third day, oh, I know of somebody in my neighborhood who is like this. Oh, uska bhai jo tha, ve aisa tha, things like that. So it became like a big family at the end of the 4-day shoot, and the film was ready. Then we sent it to a Delhi festival. It got banned immediately because it went on the censor board.
Yeah.
They refused it, saying it's vulgar and offensive, and there's nothing vulgar at all. That's a separate story altogether. But
the controversies were like a major thing that...
Yeah, we applied 3 times and they won't give. And I said, it's not empathetic to the community. I said, I'm from the community. If I don't make a film which is sympathetic with the community, what? Because none of the drag queens say that oh, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं क्या हूँ, ऐसे कैसे हूँ. Because before that, the film which was there was, there's one film which said ना मैं आदमी हूँ, ना मैं औरत हूँ, भगवान मुझे ऐसा क्यों बनाया,
Yeah.
That is what they wanted.
A drag queen without a moral compass.
Yeah, they wanted who am I? So here were these moral drag queens who are fun and loving and having sex. Plus also that it objectified that man. The man was reduced to something, a prey.
Yeah.
So that
anyway, can't go right with the straight male ego.
It's very anti-patriarchal.
How can you do that?
Yeah. So plus it kind of they reverse the entire gender binary and everything. So it becomes very complicated. So they just said no, and then we went on to a lot of festivals, won a lot of awards. It continues to remain banned because we just didn't have the strength to apply again.
But now, luckily for all the Indian viewers and all abroad viewers as well,
yes.
I don't know. Drum roll, please. It's on Netflix, you people. You can check out Gulabi Aina / Pink Mirror on Netflix. It's a beautiful movie. I've seen a bit of it. I couldn't guess though. I was watching the trailers and the YouTube links about some scenes, and also is essentially an important. It'll go down, I'm pretty sure, as a very important piece of filmmaking in the Indian LGBT movement.
Right.
Then you obviously did a couple of documentaries as
so
well.
No, then after that my second film, because the censor board really kind of took offense, the next film was like a head-on sex film. So
fuck you, censor board.
I don't say fuck you, censor board.
So the film,
so it is called US Emotionally, which is an English film, co-production with a UK filmmaker, and it talked about desire. So it's talking about two men who come from UK and fall in love with a small town hot guy, in a small town in India, and how these romances and relationships can never work out because they all come from different identities and culture and stuff like that. But there it was sex was explored, and I also have this whole idea which a lot of people didn't like US Emotionally because they felt it was very naked and it was very in your face kind of thing. But my idea is also for a lot of gay men, I think the starting point of a relationship is sex. and desire.
For everybody, in fact, people don't accept that.
I know. I mean, like you can't just like the aankhon mein dekh ke pyar ho gaya. Bahut mushkil hai.
That was 70s Bollywood.
You have to have a good sex and then you can fall in love. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's really key. You might not have a great sexual experience next time with the same person, but that's okay. You fall in love.
That's for the next time.
You fall in love.
Because if you do the arranged marriage thing and then it doesn't work out, then you're like, shit, dude, I'm stuck with this person.
You need to have the, as you said, the top and bottom figured out.
Yeah. I can't look at the same penis which is shriveled and you know.
So whatever. So I think it's important. So the US mostly really dealt with desire in every way, and he talked about and also how in India we were still not talking about desire, you know. So that is very much coming through. And anyway, that we didn't even submit to the censor board. Okay, because like we just like it didn't work, so it went on to festivals and then got released in US in the DVD market. So that was a film. I got an opportunity to screen this particular film at a college in Delhi. Okay. And there's a room full of around like I would say around 90 people, out of which I think there was like 80 boys and 10 girls or something, you know. And I was really kind of nervous. This was, I would say, 2007, you know. But the professor who introduced me in the film said that something so important, I still carry that right through. He says like, you can watch this film or walk out. You have two options, you know, you can do that. If you walk out, that's fine. You have not seen the film. That's pretty much okay. But if you sit and watch and question why you feel uncomfortable,
then you really,
then I think we can have a conversation. We can think about it, you know. And he said, yeah, I mean, you're not seen two men making out on screen ever. I mean, I think yours emotionally was the first time ever two men made out on screen, though it's not been publicized or not there yet. Before Karan Johar, before Onir, yours mostly happened, you know, which is like two men kissing, having sex, you know, on screen. And it is uncomfortable because you've not seen these images ever. So sit and find out why it's made. Yeah. And then, in fact, like the Q&A started, and there's this big thing about one boy started like, oh, this abnormal, next is bestiality, and you know, the works, you know. And sometimes, surprisingly, the girl stood up. Girls stood up and said, this is what is there in the society. These are the people whom I know. I know of gay guys in my, whatever, you know. Yeah. And then they kept on having a conversation for almost 2 hours, and I'm just sitting there. Director does not do anything because the conversation youngsters are having.
Yeah, and it's hilarious when someone says, oh, now you want to fuck a guy tomorrow. It'll be bestiality. I'm like, nowhere in my sexual history have I ever gone when I'm doing a guy and I'm like, hey, you know what, next time I'm going to try a pig. No, that's not how it
but
works.
I can play a donkey, baby.
Yeah, I can play a lot of animals, but I won't play with animals.
Yeah, I can growl. I know. Okay, growl.
That's my growler.
I know. Okay, so yours emotionally a pretty much interesting journey, and then 68 pages was a film about HIV/AIDS and a counselor talking to 5 different HIV positive people, and basic key messaging in that was basically, again, using a completely dramatic approach, was that like being HIV positive is not the end of the life. At that point of time in 2008, that was a big concern. Everybody thought like, "Arey, main positive ho gaya to main mar jaunga."
That's true.
So we are trying to get a message out.
And that scare came very late in India because it was like the 80s were there in America.
Correct.
And then 90s UK and Australia struggled with it. But we came to know like very late about this.
Believe me, we still have not been the scared yet, unfortunately. Yeah. I really think we're not scared yet.
Because if someone's going around with ghee in them, you know. So
not why. No, forget the ghee thing. Someone going around with chem and drugs right now, barebacking happening right now, big deal. Imagine. Anyway, so
too bad we're not there.
So 60 pages happened, and that's one of the things. Going back to the censor thing, we applied for a use certificate for the film because we wanted young counselors to watch the film, and they said it's a certificate. We'll give you a certificate because it has a homosexual character and transsexual character. I said, but they're not doing anything in the film. They're not even embracing, they're not touching, they're not kissing, they're not saying anything dirty or vulgar or anything. But they said, no, the characters are homosexual, the characters are transsexual, we're giving a certificate. And that is the kind of the censor board, the way they go with the rules, that's just the rule book. And it's really frustrating. So we finally actually only got a certificate. We couldn't get a release in the theatre, though we had reasonably good actors, you know, because in fact, like that's interesting. I went to a distribution agency, very prominent one, and they said I said release this film, at least put it in the morning show, 10 o'clock in the morning. That's fine. I'll bring the audience in. They said no, but ये तो normal नहीं है कोई भी. I said एक sex worker है, एक drug addict है, okay, एक gay है, एक hijra है. So there's nobody who's normal. But I said the main counselor is a normal girl. She's a woman, you know, who's a heterosexual woman, but she has 2 failed marriages. So that's that film never got released anyway, and then nothing happened. happened with that film. We went to a couple of other agencies and all. We went to UFO. Somehow it just didn't happen, and we thought it had a good audience because we had a good star cast, and the film was really powerful.
So you shot the whole thing.
No, the film is shot and it's been.
Then now wouldn't like to release it now maybe
In Netflix, yes.
Yeah,
of course.
Netflix.
Yeah, I'm
would
going for that.
definitely-
I'm going for that. So
Nice,
I'm
nice.
getting it to Netflix. Yeah. So that was an amazing film, which I think it. What I did was again myself and Vivek was a producer, said okay, balls to this particular distribution industry. We got a grant from HeWas, which is the organization, and we took it to 25 colleges and universities and cities around India. We held screenings at the community centers, and we said, okay, we'll show it to the people. I mean, if the distributors don't take the film, we'll take it to the audience. So it has been a great journey with that film. Then I really, believe me, we did all these films, but they've all been done with such minuscule budgets. Or with sometimes like this HIV film was from a development sector money,
Correct.
So it's so complicated to get money to make films. So there's also at the same time Kashish happened. So I actually lay off from my filmmaking work for a long time. So from 2007 to almost like 2013, I didn't do any films, because I was busy with Kashish,
Correct.
Except one children film which I did for a children film society. They're like, okay, can you do a gay film and a children film? Yes, you can. So and the films the children in the film are not gay.
I better hope. So tell our listeners what Kashish is all about.
Okay, Kashish, basically we started in 2010. Basically 2009, the Delhi High Court decriminalized homosexuality by saying same-sex relationship in private is okay. And we found that it is important to have a public film festival. There have been film festivals in the past which are held in colleges or held in community centers like British Council or Alliance Francaise. I've been traveling in the meanwhile with my films like Pink Mirror, US Emotionally, to a lot of festivals around the world. And the idea of just watching LGBT films on the big screen, with no shame, guilt, with your parents sometimes, or with your friends, it's such an empowering experience to just sit in this theater instead of watching on a laptop or watching on the small screen with bad sound, So that was the idea that I was really keen that we bring that experience back to India, and we got a small little grant from an Netherlands organization called Movies That Matter, and that kickstarted. And when we got that grant, it was just a 5,000 euro grant. It was not a big one, but so I just felt compelled that okay, we need to put this festival in the mainstream theater. And we went to a lot of theater chains, and none of them really wanted to do a gay festival because the previous time they screened a LGBT themed film was Fire, and the theater was broken down, I mean, the ruckus which happened with Fire. So people were really scared, but finally we managed to convince, and thankfully PVR came on board. PVR said, okay, we'll do this thing. We had a 125-seater in Juhu, PVR's Juhu.
Yeah.
And they were scared also still. They had 7 bouncers. Okay. So they were hot-looking bouncers.
Yeah, so it works both ways.
Yeah. What happened was, the bouncers were flirting with the gay men.
Nice.
But the third day, they're like, wherever the bouncers, they're all eyeing some.
Let's all bounce together.
So, and what was, we did a great festival. It kind of course, became world news because it was the first time ever in mainstream theatre. We got also, what was interesting, we got a lot of Bollywood celebrities to come, to be part of the festival.
Yeah.
That was a big one for us.
And last year, Ian McKellen was there.
Ian McKellen was there. Sonam Kapoor was there for me. More special, in that quirky dress. I love Sonam.
Nice.
So, then 2000, what was interesting was when they saw that this had been managed like a professional film festival.
Correct.
Because when we used to go to the meetings, they would say, oh, some of these gay guys have just come to do festival,
Yeah.
So they don't understand that these gay guys are either marketing people, filmmakers, have extremely solid background. So that's one of the things I think is very key, that everybody should understand that gay men or lesbian women are not just that. They are professionals in their own field. They're qualified. They can do a lot of good things, but people have that whole, as soon as you say I'm gay, immediately they push you down.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time.
I go 9 to 5, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Then 5 afterwards, I'm not that gay.
So that is the problem, and I think we broke that myth, saying that okay, these are professional people who can do a festival and do it cleanly with all the permissions of the government and everything in place, no hiccups, and we did it more professional than any other festival around. Believe me. And that's how the journey of Kashish started. Then we moved from 125-seater to a 230-seater, and now to Liberty 1,400 seats. So we have grown in size, but also grown in the idea of what the festival could do. Basically, the festival empowers people. I mean, that's what the main idea is, to watch films
and
on the big
screen. At one point,
screen.
how many movies do you all screen in the film?
We screened, this year we screened 182 films from I know. Everybody in the world's like, what?
I just got goosebumps. It is 182 films.
So 182 films, long shot. We had 3 venues this year. So 3 venues. And it's like a huge audience. We had audience turnout of close to around 2,000 people. And they watched repeated number of films. So like 9,000 repeats, I mean, it's like immense joyful celebration. But also apart from the community, it's like a big pride for the community, of course, for 5 days in a safe space where they can be just who they want to be. But more than that, I think is for the non-queer people. We get around 30% of the people who are not from the community. We do a survey. So for them, it's a window into queer life. Again, the same thing what we talk about, that LGBT people are not just about sex all the time.
Yeah.
They're just people.
The story is a small part of it.
Yeah.
That's the whole...
I mean, they're people. They're brothers, sisters, family members, doctors, judges, whatever. They could be, and different kinds of stories. They have the same emotions like anybody else. They're just human beings. They go to work. They drink coffee at barista, whatever,
Yeah, they look at people and they have googly eyes. It's like,
so I mean, no, they can do so many different things, not just all the time being just focused on. So I think that's really important. And also this whole idea, going back full circle to where we started, adolescent sexuality, it exists. We cannot be putting a barrier. So sometimes, like, I mean, this Darauta, the film which won this year's best film and also the national award, is about a young boy who wants to dress up as a woman, and has an eye for the other guy who is like a hot young guy in the class. So it exists, and we need to be careful about how we approach the subject.
Yeah.
But I'm saying let's not really kind of, and also the diversity of the queer spectrum. As I said, LGBTQIA, which you're going to bring up on your show, the set of people to understand what does asexuality mean, what does queer mean, what does intersex mean, how do they all, and also different countries. I mean, how is it in India? How is it in US? How is it in Slovenia? How is it in a small country where they're stoned to death like Iran?
Correct.
So I think looking at these, and I think the audiences understood that like it's more than just a gay film festival. It's a film festival, a great film. And I think also our programming has changed. Earlier we used to do all this buff rom-coms, great bodies on screen, like look at this, I think, but the audience also want content now, which is more provocative in terms of like edgy content. Filmmaking, the way it's made is more important than just like bodies. Good bodies are there.
Always
Good.
a plus,
Always plus,
always
We put on the late night show. Okay, so, but I think people like more different content. And I think Kashish has reached a point where I think it's, I would say, becoming more as a wonderful space to watch great LGBT cinema from around the world, but also a platform for encouraging younger filmmakers by giving grants, by taking the films around the world. We do Kashish Forward, where we take films to colleges. So things like this. I think Kashish
it's happened in IIT as well.
Yeah, IIT. And I think Kashish finally will become a platform to nurture LGBT cinema. We don't have money. As I said, like when I was doing, I didn't know where to go for money. Now at least Kashish can give a 1 lakh rupee grant, to a filmmaker to make his next film. It's a small little money donated by a London-based friend. But it's money, at least that person can dream about something. And we want to make it bigger. We want to kind of. So I think Kashish hopefully will bring about a change in the LGBT cinema making space. We just hope so. And of course, we love our Sonams and our Sonama Patra singing and Sari and Miklan coming. And we've had Johi, Chawla, Manisha. I mean, the great
Selena
support.
Jaitley as well.
Selena Jaitley is a great supporter. She's a festival ambassador. So I think we want to mix, as I said, like same thing. Actually, what I talked about in my film, advocacy and entertainment. It also percolates to Kashish. Advertainment to Kashish, because we want to do advocacy through some of the films, but also entertain. We have great performances. You're going to be next on the Kashish, I'm sure. With the open mic. So we have Rainbow Voices, we have Sushant, and we have some great shows. I think that's really important. We want to bring theatre hopefully sometime. So Kashish has a journey, but believe me, like Naveen, it's extremely complicated to bring Kashish every year. It tires me out already because getting money, I mean, we have had some of the regular supporters like IBM and who are every year, Godrej coming in every year. But it's a huge struggle. I think only if Section 377 changes, I think there's at least more support to corporate support, and or even we don't get a single brand to come and endorse us. I mean, they will endorse some, I would say, sorry to use a third-rate program in some corner of Thane, but they would not come to us. No, seriously. I mean, I'm really pissed off with
Thane is like the.
Oh God, Thane listeners, forgive me.
It's okay. It's okay.
So
they don't get podcasts in Thane.
So no, they get. So Kashish has been a journey, and I just hope that like in 2 years I want to retire, but I want to find the right people to just kind of take Kashish on and move on with it.
So for all those who want want to attend Kashish Film Festival, where do they go and how do they attend?
Okay,
Yes.
the 8th edition of Kashish is happening May 24th to 28th at Liberty Cinema. And Alliance Francaise, 2 venues, and maybe we'll have a third venue, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So we just hope that it's going to be hugely wonderful, rocking like every year, and hopefully we'll have something new. So registrations for the festival will open, I would imagine, first week of May. But we already received around 600 film submissions, and we are wading through it, and it's like a huge lot of
600. Oh
I know,
my
it's like, so myself and Sagar and the preview team is like going crazy trying to get all the films together. But we're going to bring the best of the lot and make it happen and stuff like that. Yeah.
I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
You have to be there, of course.
I have to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've given it a miss before, and I'm I feel guilty because
I don't know, you're walking on right now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Ask Karan to come too. Okay.
Wow, you just took his name. Amazing.
Oops, okay, I should.
It's getting cut. So let's go to documentaries now. You're talking about you made two films and then.
So basically, as I said, finding money to make LGBT films was completely draining. Then I was really busy with Kashish and my partner. So also, let's not forget that, So I didn't kind of do films for a long time. Almost like 2008 to 2013, there was absolutely no filmmaking. Didn't happen at all. And 2013 finally sent a proposal to PSBT, which is an organization in Delhi, Public Service Broadcast Trust, and they had this whole series about violence against women after the Nirbhaya incident. Okay, they want to make a series of films talking about women's rights and ending violence against women. And I said, lesbian women and trans women also face violence, So Purple Skies was a proposal meant in that direction, and I was really happy that they took up that particular film and made it as part of this wider conversation. So Purple Skies basically was produced by PSBT. It was about lesbians, bisexual, and Sonal Gyani is there, and many other people, Siddharth More and other people. Some of the stories are extremely traumatic. Some of the stories are very powerful, And it was shown on. It got a U certificate and shown on Doordarshan, which is a big one.
Amazing.
I think for the first time a lesbian film without any cuts, without any bleeps were shown on Doordarshan. So that was quite powerful, empowering, and it's right now available on YouTube for people to watch, and it's amazing. Yeah. The next film after that, we did Breaking Free was a film I was working for 7 years. I started shooting documentaries in 2007, though I said I was not doing anything, but I was quietly shooting in the corner, documenting events and stuff like that, how the community has kind of emerged from the shadows, how it's become empowered. And there are a lot of painful stories of human rights violations, but also very empowering stories of people, youngsters who have taken charge and moved forward. So Breaking Free kind of traces a journey from invisibility to empowerment. And we showed it at Kashish for the first time. It's a self-funded film. We just kind of been shooting for the last 8 years and finally edited it. And we showed it at Kashish, which was it was pretty much packed, 1,400 seats, and everybody was crying, the youngsters and everybody, because it's an extremely powerful, moving journey, and a lot of things which you don't know. Some of the youngsters didn't know where it all began, what happened to it, some of the stories. And so Breaking Free basically won the national award for us, drum rolls. Okay, so it won the national award for best editing. That was a huge one, having the government recognition for LGBT film, and also going part of the Indian panorama. So now again, we have to get it on Netflix. so many jobs for me.
But that's also good. We have that web series kind of space now where we can put our online content.
We just hope that it'll come. So those are the things, and then now finally moving on to my long cherished dream of coming back to narrative work, which is Evening Shadows, which is again the script which was written 7 years back but never got realized because there was no money. Finally, we sold Gulabi Aina for a little bit of money. We got some money. Instead of spending it on Daru and other things, let's invest. So that's how actually Evening Shadows, a little bit of investment from Gulabi Aina's
and
Netflix.
Then you got the crowdfund.
Then we did also crowdfunded. So, and we are still looking for money. We are really in the red right now because we shot a great deal. We have completed the shooting of Evening Shadows. It's turning out to be a great film with Mona Megankar, who is a fantastic actress, and Anand Mahadevan. So, and two young boys who I'm not revealed yet on screen. Okay, they're gorgeous. Okay, so
nice.
plug. And it's basically it's a romantic story of two guys, but also about this guy coming out to his family and how. So it's about the boys, but also about the parents. How do the parents and the families in a small town. Also, I would say the way in the city like Bombay and in a small town like a south of India somewhere, how different lives are, how different understandings are, how different coming out processes are, I think that's where the film is situated, and we're just hoping that we'll complete it, and we don't know when we're going to be completing it because we are working on the post right now, but it's looking really, really promising, and I'm really excited. Everybody wants to show it at Kashish, of course, but I don't know whether it'll be ready by then. Let's see.
So let's hope all our listeners who are listening will help you out to release the film.
Yes.
It was great talking to you, Sridhar. I can't believe we actually had like an entire, almost 2-hour conversation.
You're going to cut it down to 20 minutes, I know that.
No. I'm going to make sure that we release 2 episodes because the world should listen to what we spoke about.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Only one thing which I forgot. Like the best moment of my life is like meeting Justin Trudeau and just hugging him.
Oh my God.
Oh God, I know that was immense. Like as part of the Grand Marshal at the Montreal Pride, and I got to hug Justin Trudeau. A life moment. So what happens is like you start off like in a small town so many years back, and you don't know where your journey is. At least those roads lead to Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
सफल हो गया समझो.
That's where life का ultimate mode हो गया अभी.
और कुछ नहीं चाहिए.
Permanent.
I can retire now. Like I'm done with my job.
Nice.
Just hope that in India we'll have more people in the public space who are as wonderful as.
But supportive chodo, we have to find younger people first. Like all these old fuckers are just like ruining our lives.
Did you say that?
I just in politics, I mean, like.
Yeah, I know. Did you say that in politics? Okay.
I don't care. I'm a comedian. I can say anything.
I know. I listen to Shekhar Suman. Like, मैं मजाक नहीं करूँगा तो कौन करेगा?
हाँ.
I mean, he made mazak of Atal Bihari Vajpayee as a stand-up comedian. And Atal Bihari said, yeah, great. I don't take anything wrong about it. You're a comedian. That's your job. Yeah. I'm doing my job. You're doing your job.
But a great dictator can't take jokes now.
I know.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Hail him. Anyways, so that brings us to the end of this episode on a controversial note.
But BJP has been not bad. I mean, in the sense, they've not been supportive, but they've not been negative either. So let's.
Yeah, because they'll get the whole rainbow treatment if they ever.
I just hope that they stay and they don't kind of really be vicious. We are fearing the worst. In a year, I don't think we have.
But it won't happen. I think generally now we've reached a time where there's an impasse in that sense. We exist and you exist.
Because also I think a lot of youngsters have come out and been there, and that I think is the most important. I mean, and all of you are there, and you cannot just kind of say that we don't exist.
Yeah, like for even me and my age group that I see people are now out and talking about it. I'm like, this is the best time to be alive. Now the movement is really like taking the roots that you all set, like Ashok Rao Kavi, you, and you say the Last Foundation or Yaria or Humsafar Trust. We have only become a subset of that. We have grown and watched you all actually take the lead, and that's why I started the episode with how you're an inspiration to a lot of young people like me.
But actually, like, I mean, at 54 now, my regret is with all the work, with all the pushing all of us did, we still didn't make it there. In the sense, like, I wish there was no kind of no rape of transgender, there's no killing, the gay men are completely, the law would have been changed.
Yeah.
We really thought we would make it much better for all of you. I mean, we really wanted to make it.
But then given the country we live in, we have like had a very eclectic and a very dark history as well as a country.
Yeah,
so where we come from also will define where we go. So
we should not blame ourselves.
No, we should definitely not blame each other. Because if not for we all, then where would we be, right?
No, I just like hope that we all could have been. I think still a lot of, I'll tell you what, like I think
but there is still hope.
There's so much more people who could have come out and done things. My age group, इतने सारे लोग हैं जो powerful है, इतने सारे कर सकते हैं. Nobody is doing anything. They're all living in their own closet in Malabar Hill and wherever it is. Sorry, I'm like, let me not be a grumpy, old, frustrated man. I'm a happy, young, 26-year-old. I want growler. I'm going to get a growler. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that everybody can live happily and loving, and like, and myself and my partner can complete 50 years. I think I just hope so.
And we'll be there at the anniversary party. It'll probably tie in with the Kashish ka 50th version. Alright, so that was Sridhar Rangayan on Keeping It Queer. I'm so glad we could do this.
I love it here.
Yes, and we'll have you again sometime soon.
I have no more stories to tell.
We'll find some stories. Time will pass between this and the next episode.
Right.
We'll have stories from Kashish as well. Like every filmmaking episode, and like we'll have so much.
Or my extramarital affairs.
That is a secret episode we shouldn't release. So that's it. Keeping It Queer, Sridhar and I. Thank you so much, everybody. Goodbye. Well, if you enjoyed the show, you can listen to more of it on any of the podcasting apps you like. You can look out for us on Audio Boom, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Beyond Pod. But if you're looking for us on the iTunes India store, you might have a bit of a trouble finding us because of the language used on the show. So be sure to change your location and then listen to us. For now, it's me, Navin Noronha, signing off. Goodbye. Thank you so much. And please continue keeping it queer. Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.